what we have here in terms of our Q&A, and also everybody is welcome to submit further Q&A questions for us to address over the next few minutes. So the first one is for you, Celia, and this statement says, thank you for taking part in the webinar. Could you please tell us more what is going to happen with the response time the students are facing from Immigration New Zealand? There are students waiting for 5 months for reply on their student visa application, and they are onshore. It is a really difficult situation because the student spends all their budget on living costs in the country. They're not able to start their course. On the other hand, the agent cannot receive any income for the job they've done since the agents are only paid after the student has commenced their course. So the situation is really difficult for both students and agents. Can you give us any more glimmers of hope, I guess, is what the agent's looking for?
Sure. Look, obviously, you'll be aware it's hard to answer these type of questions without knowing the exact details of the case. But what I would say is that with those applications that we had in New Zealand, and it's going back a few months now, but when New Zealand was under alert level 3 and 4, so sort of March, April, May, we were unable to process visas. So we did have a period there where we could not get into the office to process those visas. That did add a little bit of pressure to the system. The other thing that happened when we did get back into the office under alert level 2 and moving through into 1, which is what we are now, is we found that we did require more information from a lot of applicants who are in New Zealand. So this would either be a request for information, or we've got some information that we're a little bit worried about, and so we will issue what's called a potentially prejudicial information letter. Now, because of the impact of COVID on students being able to obtain information or possibly go and get a medical check, what have you, New Zealand made the decision to give their students longer to get that answer back to us. Normally we would give sort of 7 to 10 days. We were giving a month, and in some cases people were coming back to ask for extensions to get further time because they were struggling to get the information. So that has impacted our processing time for some of those earlier applications. We have found that some students were taking that full month, or, as I said, asking for longer time to get us the information. So without knowing the exact details of your case, it sounds though, as if you've been waiting for that many months, that there was more information we needed, and it possibly got caught up in that COVID situation. But you can, more than happy for you to send through that application detail, and we can get someone in Palmerston North to have a look at it. That's no problem.
Thank you, Celia. Genevieve, we have one question here. That is, how can an education agency become recognised as an EM state recognised agency as of the current time?
Thank you, Rod. So as I mentioned earlier, there will be some change that will need to apply to the program as it currently stands because of COVID-19, and because most agents have been unable to obviously successfully place students in New Zealand institutions. So we need to revise the program as it stands, and normally we open the application period in September, but we'll have to see if it will happen as early as that. We will keep agents updated. There's on our corporate website we have a agent engagement page, so an agent dedicated page where there is also information specifically about how to become an ENZ recognized agency. And I think I did send the link to I posted the answer in the Q&A box, so I've put the link there if you want to refer to it. But it will take you through all the steps and the criteria that how it currently stands. But as I mentioned, this program will have to be revised, and we'll send the information very soon.
Great, thanks, Jen. So if anybody is looking for example, a copy of the presentation, you can pop that into the Q&A as well. We'll be collecting all of the details from the Q&A after the webinar and responding to anyone that asks for a copy of the presentation. So I think it seems like you have answered everybody's questions with your very clear and thorough updates on what is happening in the New Zealand market. I'm sure everyone is hoping that COVID-19 won't be with us for too long, and that eventually we'll all be able to start moving around again. Students will be able to re-enter New Zealand, and that we'll all be able to meet up together at various places in New Zealand at ISEP events, and hopefully at the ANZA workshop next year. So there is another question here. These are requests for copies of the presentation, so I'll be taking care of that. Also, I'd have to say, Jen, I've been on a number of the Agent Lab webinars myself over the last few months, and some of them are extremely excellent, and we have uploaded the webinars that focus on the regions of New Zealand into the webinars tab on the event platform. And also the presentation by Grant McPherson, the Chief Executive of Education New Zealand as well. So thanks for making those available to us. So we will bring this webinar to a close. Some of our participants will have one-on-one meetings coming up. And I do once again thank Dan, Genevieve, and Celia for their time and for their updates this afternoon. Thanks very much, everybody.